Good morning and welcome, all shining beings all around the world, all across all times, all spaces, and all dimensions. It is I, Sylvia, coming to you live from beautiful Eastbourne by the sea. And I am super excited to be here with you this morning and to dive into the oceans of nature energy at some point. And I hope we are going to be having a good time. I think we will. Good morning, dear Ilka and Lioness of Gaia. Welcome, welcome to. I'm excited. I'm tingling. You can't go wrong with nature energy, can you? It's just the best, most enlivening, most wonderful thing there is. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. Before we get started, we do have a GOE trainers course coming up in June in the English language. So if you are interested in teaching individuals, groups, large groups, the beauties of modern energy and bringing light and love and stress management, proper stress management into the worlds of human beings, please contact Zoe, go to the goe.ac, inquire, and become one of those wonderful people who are spreading happiness, literally spreading happiness around the world. Good morning, Marina. Hello, welcome. And all others who are here with us this morning. Brilliant. Okay, so, yes, I am at the moment really happy about the Community Energies program that we started in January. And we are now 14 weeks in and at the stage where people are doing small trial groups and testing out their venues, their materials, and generally speaking, just dipping their toes into the water of telling people about energy. And it's just beautiful, really. People are, this is not as easy as it sounds to some people. There's some people who are just happy to go out and be teachers and trainers and are happy in front of large groups. And other people, for most people, this is not quite as simple as it might seem. So what we've done is at these trial sessions, and different individuals all around the world are starting to do these. And something that has happened, which I think is really brilliant, is that they've started out by saying to people, let's just meet in the forest, or meet me here, and there's a venue, and there's also a beautiful garden, or meet me by the seashore for an energy exploration. And people come in and they're quite, nature energy is something that is hugely attractive to human beings, hugely attractive to human beings. And people who live in modern worlds, in modern houses, in modern society, in towns and cities, they have come to appreciate nature even more because there is such an absence of nature in their daily lives. And this hunger for real nature experiences, experiencing the beauty and the wonder of nature, is just growing and growing and growing. And so, the appreciation of nature itself is growing. The awareness of it is growing in human beings. And that's a good thing. And I really, really appreciate that. And so where we come into this with modern energy is through EMO and the sixth sense. And if you've never heard about this, EMO, energy in motion, takes the energy body really seriously and says it's a living thing, it's a proper living body with healing hands and the energy mind there, the neurology, these flows and rivers and organs. It's a real proper body. And we can tell how well this energy body is working, our so called spirit, how happy our spirit is through the medium of our emotions. And that's really the big, oh my God, emotions are the sixth sense. That's what they are. That's what they're good for. This is this big piece of news that the entire Western world is lacking because they really haven't a clue what emotions are. And to be fair, if you have a civilization built on just five senses, you're missing the sixth sense, which are the emotions, intuition on the low range, and the emotional feelings in the body on the mid range, and then the psychosomatic emotions, which are indistinguishable from physical pain. This is our sixth sense. And that big, whoa, that is such a key thing to making energy from this wibbly wobbly thing that you have to, I often say, you have to hallucinate and lick flowers. It makes energy into this real big, powerful thing that brings us to our knees, that has the power to drive tears into our eyes, that has the power to uplift us at lightning speed, has the power to make us fall in love and completely change the way we think and feel about everything. Emotions are really important to understand for humanity. And EMO, energy in motion, is all about that. That emotions are not complicated. They're not some sort of psychological weirdness. They are simply the feedback devices from our living energy body. And this is not, the sixth sense is not passive. We don't just stand there like with our eyes and all this information is flooding in through our eyes from all around, and we're just standing there and passively absorbing this. This is one of the big misunderstandings about nature energy and how this all works, is that you just stand there and soak it all in. And yeah, and you can do that. That's nice, sure. But when we are going out into nature and looking around and using the sense of our eyes to direct what attracts our attention, and sometimes we can hear a bird and then we turn around and look at it, pay attention to it. Our sixth sense, our emotions, they're an active sense that is supposed to direct us and guide us, sometimes warn us, just as all the other senses are supposed to function. When we smell something really nice, we go, "Oh, what's that?" We're attracted by it and we go towards it. We smell something horrible, we go, "Oh, I better stay away from that." And our emotions are meant to function exactly in that same way. And it's a marvelous thing. Good morning, dear Lorna and Carol Ann. How wonderful to be here with me this morning. I'm delighted, my dear shining beings. Ah, and of course, I extend the same to you watching or listening to the Energy Show. I am glad that you're here. I'm really delighted. And I hope I can, I don't know, catalyze something for you, for me, for all of us together that does some good in the world. So, yeah, the nature energy. And we've had such wonderful stories of people interacting with nature energy in the various energy clubs. And because of the community energist idea this week, there's so many. Where do we start? Where do we start? Well, there's always that thing when you are taking some people who don't know anything about EMO or energy work for that matter into some natural surrounding, like a forest. Just there's imagine this. There's a car park somewhere in the world, in Germany, in Italy, in Russia, in South Africa. in America, in Rwanda. It's a car park. You get out of the car park, and by the side of the car park, there is some trees and some bushes, perhaps some little weeds in the verge, some grasses. No, just nothing spectacular. Just your average by the side of a car park nature that we can even find in the modern world still. Thank goodness for that. And so these people come out, and so you start talking about energy, how that works, the real energy body. And then we say to them, we point out, say, a tree. And today I have my energy show themed about my own tree, which is in the background. I have a huge tree in my tiny little garden here in England. This little house with a little garden with a huge tree in it. And for the longest time, I didn't know what it was. And it turns out to be a dawn redwood, or meta sequoia, as its name would go. And I was just laughing at this. It's a deciduous type of larch. It's a beautiful tree. The amount of joy that has given me over the years is incalculable. Solace, too. In dark moments. But at any rate, I digress, or do I? So you're getting out of the car in the car park with these people, and there's a tree. And so you point at the tree and you make them look at it, draw their attention towards it, and you say to them, okay, now take a deep breath in and really focus on that tree. Where do you feel that tree in your body? Show me with your hands. And that's really that interesting moment when, for the first time, as far as I'm aware, almost anyone in the world has been directed to pay attention to their own true sixth sense. Where do you feel that tree in your body? Show me with your hands. And it's really awesome because a lot of people go like this, and then they say, I don't know. And then you say to them, have a look at your hands. They've shown you where you feel that tree with your body. And they look down and go, it's quite real. Show me with your hands where you feel that tree in your body. And that's not a tree hugging thing. This is a reaction. This is like saying, see the tree or hear the tree or hear the rustling of the leaves. The sixth sense one is, where do you feel that tree in your body? Show me with your hands. And then once we have that, we can then say, okay, where does this energy need to go? Where does it want to flow? Where does it flows? And then I'm already making the movements here. It wants to flow in, through, and out. When you encourage that energy flow directly from that tree, the faster that energy flows and the more it flows through your body, out through your feet, and sometimes also up and into your face and out of your head. And people can really feel that in their body. And they're astonished by it. Not just that, it feels good. It feels energizing. They'll say things like, wow, the colors have all of a sudden gone brighter, or I can feel tingling in my hands and in my feet. Wow. Or, oof, my breath has become deeper all of a sudden. And then you can say, yeah, right. Exactly. That is the energy from the tree coming into your living energy body, and it's going through and out. You're taking in the energy from that tree. People are astonished by that and delighted. And all of a sudden, this whole thing with the sixth sense, instead of being this weird, spooky thing about dead people, becomes this living, activated, additional ability, like a superpower that we all have. And we just haven't thought to use it. I think it's amazing. It's fantastic. So this is something, and what I love about this is that a lot of our community energists are going into this all worried what people will say and whether they think they're weird or whether they're going to argue or just be, I don't know, reversed and angry or something like that. But in fact, there isn't actually no need to be afraid of that, because the people who have put up their hands and said, yeah, I'm going to come to your nature energy club, they're not going to be the types that are going to give them grief. But not only that, modern energy is so practical, is so down to earth. It is so simple and at the same time just so delightful that it just brings joy to people. They love it. So they're standing there around practicing with their tree, whatever it may be. Could be a little birch or fir tree, it doesn't matter. This is making me laugh because, of course, every tree feels different. Every tree sounds different when the wind blows through it. Every tree tastes different if you were to, chew on a leaf. Every tree smells different. And of course, every tree looks different. And every tree produces a different energy sensation inside of us. Comes in different places. It flows through different pathways. It produces a different kind of, you can call it that, emotion. And that's where we then get really close up and personal with nature. That is the moment when that sixth sense sensation is added to what we see, hear, feel, taste, scent, and we can touch the bark and the leaves. When that sixth sense sensation is added to those other input channels, that is when that threshold shift occurs and the tree comes to life as an entity, as something that you can have a relationship with, something that can nourish you, empower you, teach you new things, and just do these marvelous things in your physical body as the physical body responds to these signals being sent from the energy body. It's an absolutely amazing thing that goes way beyond just tree hugging, way beyond just tree hugging or some kind of hallucination for Mother Birch or whatever. It is a personal, direct contact with, well, the great creative order itself and its ambassador to us, that tree today. At that moment, when we are paying attention to the tree, not just with five senses, because with five senses, it's only wood to be chopped down. Perhaps it has some use in producing oxygen, but it's nothing but a commodity. When the sixth sense comes in, then we get closer to actual reality. And that's the wonderful, wonderful thing. Because so much of New Age practices are based on hallucinations, on delusion, on make-believe. But modern energy isn't. Modern energy is based on logic, on reality. And I absolutely love that. Just going to pick some comments here. Let's see. Carol N says, I always get a sense of strength and stability when I give my attention to a tree. Yes. And something to develop in that context is to really allow that energy to come in and flow through and out and become aware where that particular tree is interacting with your energy system and what sensations that produces and how they are different to other trees. That's where things become like really super interesting, because all of a sudden We're not just talking all the different tree species in the universe, all the birches, all the larches, all the elm trees, all the oaks. We're talking about individual trees now. Individual trees. That little birch with the slightly bent top, because there must have been a strong wind, or that young oak that is as straight as anything, or that old oak standing next door with these gnarled branches and might have suffered a lightning strike along the way. This is a exponential expansion of entities, of living beings, of the potential for loving relationships that will feed you and nourish you in the most spectacular way. And that gets better and better. As you get older, it gets stronger and stronger through practice as we become more experienced, as we become more aware of how it works, as we start to move into using this amazing, amazing thing that we can connect with nature through our sixth sense. And here I would like to say something. A lot of people have had bad experiences with other people. And so they have shields upon shields upon shields between themselves and other people. But when you step up to a tree, those shields can come down and you can really fully reconnect with that nature entity. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be worried. You don't have to, you can just let down your shields. And see, holding up all these energy shields that we carry around us, front, back, over the top, and everywhere, they need a lot of energy to maintain. It's like, on a space series, on a science fiction series, they're saying about that, when they're in a battle and situation is getting critical, you can hear them in the background saying, shields at 20%, shields at 15%. We need more energy. We need more energy to keep these shields up around us. But when we are in nature, we don't need those shields. And that is that huge sense of relief that some people get when they are out in nature and there's no other people around and they can literally go, and there's then energy left over to spool up and then go outwards and make those healing connections, relationships with the sea, with the sky, Mother Earth and Father Sky, the mountains and the clouds, and all those things can stream freely into us without shields, without barriers. And not only that, we can stand there and be aware of this and appreciative of how life-giving, recharging, re-energizing, and rejuvenating that actually is. Oh, yes, I could really talk about this for hours. This is an interesting point that Ilka is making here. She's saying we have, as well as we're thinking of information, very old and profound information flows in through and out, that it's a kind of communication and data transfer. Absolutely. The information about the tree, about the trees, about the role of nature in our lives, what nature is, what our relationship with nature is, all of this is information, data. And I know that a lot of new age people don't find the concept of information and data sexy. But the more you know, the more you understand, the more data you have, the wiser you become. And the more these aha moments you get of, oh, now I understand why this is like this. Or now I understand the connection between that and that and that and that and that and that. That's wisdom. Wisdom is not acquired by reading a book. But you can acquire wisdom by doing email with a tree, just one step away from the car park. So, yeah, the idea that these lovely people in various countries around the world are having their first real sixth sense emo experiences in nature is just joyful to me. It is super, super joyful to me. It's like, yay. See, the more people I believe there are around who actually understand this, the better for everyone. They are like ripples in a pond. Now they've understood that. Perhaps one of them has a child, a young child, and they can say, oh, where do you feel that in your body? Show me with your hands. And they can do some emo, and those children then can grow up with that sixth sense ability of understanding what emotions are, what they are for, what they're trying to tell us, and to react appropriately. That's the thing, isn't it? To react appropriately to the information coming in through our emotions. To understand that the information that we are getting through our emotions are exactly like what you see, what you hear, what you feel. You're supposed to respond in some way to that. In the correct way, preferably. That'd be nice. Yes. But so, yeah, there's these lovely people having these experiences there in the forest and or in gardens and things. This was also really lovely because there isn't only that tree. Once they've done it with the tree and they understand how it works, then you can send them out and say, okay, so there's a vast variety of plants just 1 meter away from the edge of this car park. There's weeds, there's flowers, there's bushes, there's different kinds of shrubs, little trees, ferns, bluebells, it's all sorts. Now, what I'd like you to do is to just go and have a little walk around and find a plant that is extra attractive to you today. That is going to be your special healing plant that has exactly the right energy you need today to feel better. And it may even heal an old problem that you've had for a long, long time. Who is to say? We can't promise anything like that, but what we can promise is that when you found your plant today, you will have a fabulous, personal, lived experience of feeling absolutely amazing. So off you go. See what you can find. Sense, taste, smell, sense what you can find where you can do that. Where do I feel this bluebell in my body? Show me with my hands. Where does this energy need to flow through me? Can I let it flow faster? And allow yourself to do that thing. And see, in this process is as you are actively engaging and encouraging this energy flow, it is absolutely like falling in love. The faster the energy flow becomes, the more complete the data stream becomes, the more love you feel. I mean, it's like absolutely like falling in love. It is falling in love. And there we come then to this metaphysical thing of love is healing. Love is healing. And if A little weed or a bluebell can give you that experience, lived experience of falling in love with something perfect and innocent. Then how can any of us ever say that nobody loves us? It's an extraordinary thing. It gets deeply metaphysical so quickly. But at the same time, we have these newbies on their first energy club session, wandering around in the forest, having these awesome energy experiences. And it's real, and it's easy, and it is here, right now, available, right now. And it's a personal experience of this idea that love actually does heal everything that's broken in the energy realm, shall we say. Not so sure if love heals broken bones directly. It can certainly speed it up. It'll help. Love always helps. Let's go with that. Instead of love heals everything, love always, always helps. Always helps. Always on your side. It's just a wonderful thing. Ah, yes. So there were those people, they were doing that, and one person who had done this in an energy club somewhere in a faraway land, in a faraway kingdom. There lived a lady who went to the energy club and heard about this for the first time in her life. And she was so excited by it that she went back to her own garden. And it's springtime, so there's time to plant things and what have you. And she told us that the processes of gardening had completely changed for her. She'd given each one of the little plants that she'd bought in the nursery so much love and attention, and real proper attention, emo attention, as she was planting it. And she had just mystical experience with her own garden. And not just that, after they were planted, that connection remains. There's that resonant connection now to all these plants in her garden. And she said, just looking out the window, I'm feeling so uplifted. I've always loved gardening, but this has just taken it to a whole new level. I love it. I love that. Absolutely love that. It's a wonderful thing. Okay. Lorna is saying, I planted young cherry tree in my garden last year and it's just in bloom with beautiful pink blossoms. I will go and do emo with it. Yes, please do. Please do. And invite others that come to your garden and see that lovely little plant. And by all means, just a wonderful thing. And then there was another story to do with gardens, which I thought was also lovely. There was a lady who told a story of a public garden that belonged to a number of people. So there was like a committee that had to get together and decide to do what to do with this garden, which was bedraggled. And she used one of the emo patterns, or one of the modern energy patterns, which was to say to the committee members, if this garden was a person, what kind of person would that garden be and what state would they be in it? And the people were like, oh, it's like an old hobo, and with a sad straw hat, and it's just bedraggled and just sad. And so they started laughing and talking about how they could make the garden entity happier, what this garden entity would need to be happier. And it was super because the people who were on this committee were not energists yet, but they were reacting properly to this. And they were giving ideas of it needs more love and care and attention. It needs us to care for it more. And everybody was like, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what this garden needs. We can talk about what plants we're going to plant in there. But first of all, it just needs more love, that we love it more. And so they went round and had a look at the existing plants and did some emo with it. And so this whole committee just came together in the love of the garden and had lots of good ideas of what they could do with it in order for it to be like a fountain of energy for all the people who lived around it, rather than just some boring thing that you're not allowed to build anything on. And that's also then where you're bringing the emotion back into the game. Bringing it's that's what we need. We need to bring the emotion back into the game of everything that we do as human beings. This is, you shouldn't be building a supermarket or planning a supermarket just on the lines of people being, I don't know, being funneled down certain aisles and that sort of thing. You should really think about how can you make it so that people love shopping there? What can we put in this supermarket so that people love being here instead of fleeing from this prison of being funneled and forced and manipulated? There's everything in the world, from buildings to systems to structures. They all need more love. And I think nature energy is just such a great way of reconnecting with that, of starting to understand the process of connection, energy flow, information flow. And then that emotional response that happens naturally when the information flow becomes faster and we get that tingle, that excitement. Here's something that we could love. Here's something that we could fall in love with. That's the basic lesson. And like we really, all the basic lessons in life should be learned from nature. They should not be learned from books. They should be learned from nature directly. Now, when you're not careful, you fall over, you hurt your knee, red stuff comes out. It hurts. But then it heals. Amazing. Gee, this is so amazing. Life is amazing. Yeah, so that's sort of, there was one more. Yes, this is the one, and that's the one that I really want to focus on. So there was the story of one lady alone in the forest and feeling a little bit lonely. But luckily, this person was a modern energist. And she knew about this thing where you look around and allow your attention to be captivated by a specific plant in the environment. And so she looked around in the forest. There was lots and lots of wonderful things, ferns unfurling and flowers and all sorts of things. But what her attention was drawn to was a dandelion, a golden dandelion on the forest floor in the sunlight. And that's what she went to connect with. And as she simply, where do I feel this dandelion in my body? Show me with my hands. The fat green leaves and the lovely golden flower, these amazing geometric petals. Where do I feel that in my body? Show me with my hands. And she felt it like sunshine on her face, and just let it flow in through and out. And there came with that a sense of awe and wonder at this astonishing perfection of that plant. Its roots, its leaves, the extraordinary way it disperses its seeds, how particularly dandelions never give up and never surrender. And if you've ever had a stone path, then you will know this is true. They will find a way. Life will find a way is encapsulated in this little weed. And it gave her strength, it gave her hope, it gave her a sunny smile and a feeling of being in the right place at the right time and that life is going according to plan. And that is just such a wonderful story. It is so simple, it's so applicable. Because I don't know how many times in my life I have turned to something just like that. I remember one time in a city in North England, I was really not feeling well. I was physically so unwell, absolutely exhausted, walking past a large old railway bridge, which was blackened from, because it was so old, from the smoke from actual steam trains. It was black brick. And in that black brick, there sat a little fern, bright green, shimmering, with some raindrops on its little leaves. And I was just absolutely mesmerized by that, fascinated by that. And the voice said to me, life will find a way. I can't describe how much gratitude I have for that moment, for that, for the little fern, just to be reminded of the truth of nature, of life, of our existence, and of the endless grace and blessings there are to be found in this existence if we literally open our minds, open our hearts, open our intelligence to real reality, the grace and blessings of nature. Oh, so yeah, this is, I hope, an encouragement, an inspiration, a celebration of our, we're superhumans. We have a sixth sense. We can connect energetically with things. And I think that connecting with plants, the green kingdom, nature, at that level, just the plants. They're not going to jump out of their pots and attack us or bite us. They're not going to be frightening or scaring us in any shape or form. They are just there, and they're awaiting us to move towards them and pay attention to them and really play that game where you're going, what can I see? Can I hear something? Can I scent something? Can I taste something in my mouth? If I very gently touch this plant, what does it feel like? And then that question, and where do I feel you in my body? Show me with your hands. And really do learn how to encourage and flow that energy and information in, through, and out. Because if you do that, you will gain a garden of Eden worth of healing plants and remedies for your ills that are free for you, lifelong, waiting for you to connect with and to use for healing. By all means, you can walk into the garden center where there are lots and lots of herbs and flowers from all around the world, and you can say, okay, this is my problem. Who can help me here? Which one of you is my perfect healing remedy today? And look around and see what attracts your attention. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful game to play. A game for human children to play. And you don't have to stop with one plant. You can say, okay, That was wonderful. What is the next one for me? What's the next one? How can I get even higher? Or how can I solve this problem even more profoundly? Or how can I get completely over this problem? Or how can I, get a positive quality that I need today? It's a brilliant thing. And it's completely free of charge. And it gets better the older you get, which is the coolest thing about it. Ah, yes, that is very true. There's this whole thing about walking barefoot that Linda has just mentioned in the comments. This is absolutely one of those other things. And today we're just really talking about connecting with nature energy, and particularly with plants, and how to use our sixth sense to guide us to the right healing solutions for ourselves, the right uplifting for ourselves. And there to learn really that reconnection that we may then extend perhaps to animals. And at the end of the day, and this is the high-end challenge, to other people. But, as I say, that may be a long way off. Let's practice with the beauty of nature, with the beautiful trees, with all those wonderful things. And that is where we start. I hope you've enjoyed this. I think it's a wonderful topic. If you have children or grandchildren or access to young people, please teach them this. Please teach them this. It is so simple, it's so human, it's so natural. And it is the highest time that we enter into a sixth sense paradigm for the world of human beings, where we're evaluating everything, including ourselves, not just through five senses, but six. We need that. Need it more than anything else before any further damage is done to ourselves and anything else that we touch. So, my dear friends, I am going to thank you for being here today. And I'm going to end with my favorite little poem, or whatever we may call it. If you know it, please join me and say it with me. I have an amazing physical body. I have a beautiful mind. I have an astonishing, radiant energy body. I am a multi-dimensional being in the oceans of energy, and my happiness matters. Lots and lots of love to you on your path, on your way. May a little flower or a little plant at the path of your life smile at you and remind you that there is all the love in the universe for you, awaiting now and forever. Have a wonderful week, my dear, dear friends, my shining beings, and I will see you for the next energy show, Sunday Live with Sylvia. Lots of love and goodbye for now.